Within this community of dark adepts, Sinisterism is paradoxically both unique and ubiquitous, because I believe many of those on the path practice it without the realization that they are doing so. Now, why do I think this? It's because it's extremely difficult to have an independent spirit and at the same time abide by the rules of an established paradigm. And we tend to have an obsessive nature, so a single discipline will not suffice. We ask too many questions because we don't want to believe, we want to know the answers to the mysteries that dwell in the shadows. And we are not reactionary. We're not on this path because we're mad at mommy, daddy society, or Christianity. To work your way down this path, one must have a mature perspective on what's going on in the arcane depths of our own psyches. Because of our innate obsessive nature, we don't simply scratch the surface. We dig deeply as we learn the rituals and study the symbols, the philosophy, the archetypal psychology, and the history of the left-hand path. And by doing so, I've learned that Sinisterists have existed in one form or another since the beginning of time, since the first primordial human being decided to stop bowing down to some animal god or sun deity and instead said, I am that deity. Because in my world, my greatness is equal to the gods, so I bow down to none. That innate spirit has always existed. So over the centuries, Sinisterists have been those that have taken a battle axe to Christian morality and other fear-based dogmas. And their studies have taken them from Hermeticism to Hinduism and still further back into the ancient Indo-European core philosophy of the eternal natural law, and back further still to that first horn god to find the source. Into the depths of history and the depths of the mind to find the foundation, the deep psychological undercurrent that transcends it all. And in doing so, have come to acknowledge that the human animal is a beast, a carnal, lustful creature that is one with the primal. And when we are truly one with the primal in history, primal in the psyche, then we can obtain truth. What do I mean by truth? I'm talking about your truth, that personal truth that only you can uncover in the deep recesses of the dark absolute of your mind. Thus, making Sinisterism the supreme philosophy of the self. It values selfishness, because if you aren't worth a damn to yourself first and foremost, you can't be worth a damn to anyone else. To change the world, you must first change yourself. It's the weakest, most pitiful human beings who shout the loudest, who insist that the world must change for them, instead of changing the world inside themselves. A Sinisterist never blames others for their woes in life and never looks to others to make their lives better. For it is a philosophy of intellect and strength over faith and subservience. A Sinisterist is a wolf instead of a sheep, a wild boar instead of a domesticated pig, a fighter instead of a victim. It's a philosophy of faith, but it's faith in ourselves instead of in politicians, preachers, or some self-centered, emotionally stunted God. We take charge. Willingness to dive into life head first, but always willing to take responsibility for our actions. A Sinisterist does not believe in karma, but instead has a love of fate, if you will, a love for whatever life has in store, because if it doesn't kill us, we will emerge a better, more whole individual. We strive to become what Nietzsche called the higher man or woman, the human that has forsaken slave morality and has risen to their highest self. A sinistress is also an unsafe being, for we are willing to speak of the darker aspects of the human condition. We are the deviant, heretical voices in the ever-expanding PC culture. We are the monsters at the windows of night, watching those enslaved by fear. Look around you. Are you aware of the herd? Do you see them? Pick one out. Does that being have an awareness? Is it even conscious of consciousness itself? While most run away, we pay attention and learn from all aspects of existence. The successes and the failures, the good, the bad. We learn from the intelligent and the stupid. We take it all in. And the status quo? They're too afraid. And what do they fear the most? They fear themselves. They're afraid of the shadow self, that which lurks inside. And to relinquish that fear, they look outside themselves. They pray in the subservient posture of a slave to beg their master in the sky to save them from themselves. But we're different. We want to get to know that demon we share a beating heart with. And that's why we perform the rituals. So we can commune with that demon, to embrace that Jungian shadow, that half of what we are that has been shunned by a society based upon a dictatorial religious philosophy, a philosophy of death, while we preach life. In the end, my friends, the dark incandescence of sinister illumination is what awaits you on this path. It's not about becoming one with the dark gods through prayer and pious obedience. It's instead becoming as the gods are through our own personal limit experiences, our extreme thoughts, our extreme actions, by extreme will. It's a willingness to go to the edge in order to awaken the divine within.